Where do I even start? Where do I begin? I was working in retail skincare at a local mall, from being home-based to being in a salon suite and then being in a storefront now. And I just want to share that and bring some awareness to my journey. If you are anything like me and you're just trying to figure it out, my name is Erica Lamore and I am an Orlando-based esthetician and I'm an acne specialist. I've been doing this for 7 years now. And this is a podcast for the women in business, women in their 20s, anybody in their 20s, people that are in the aesthetics industry just trying to get their footing and figure out, am I doing this right? Because let me tell you, 7 years has felt like an eternity, and there's been many ups and downs. And I just want to share that and bring some awareness to my journey, how I got to where I'm at, and also just be authentic with you guys, because sometimes things are not so pretty, and that's okay. You don't have to be so refined and polished. You can be yourself and go into business being yourself and knowing that you're going to attract the clients that are right for you. So yeah, there's just a lot out there, and I feel like there's so much to compare yourself to. And I want to foster, a tone and a culture on this podcast that is just very real and chill, come as you are, and understand that your journey is unique to you. So yeah, I hope you guys can learn from me, and I hope you enjoy hearing about my story and connecting, because we're going to talk about all of the things. So get excited, get a snack, and yeah, this is my intro. So where do I even start? Where do I begin? 7 years. I'm 27 years old. I will be 28 soon. I'm a June baby. And let me just tell you guys a little bit about myself and who I am. I'm a Cancer, a little bit emotional, but sensitive in the best ways, because I feel like it really helps me be empathetic and connect with my clients. I have a 2, almost 3-year-old wiener dog named Benny, and I was born and raised in Orlando. I've literally been here my whole life. And funny enough, my office is right down the street from the same hospital that I was born at. So yeah, I'm just an Orlando girl. And my family is primarily Puerto Rican, a little bit of Italian, and a little bit of French, hence my last name, Lamore. And I have 2 siblings. I'm the baby of the family. I have an older sister and an older brother. And yeah, I love my mom and dad. They're still together. I love my parents so much. They've helped me become the woman that I am today. So that's just a little bit about me. What else can I say about who I am? I feel like my whole 20s, I've just been figuring out, what it is that I wanted to do, what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, what name and reputation I wanted to create for myself in the aesthetics industry in Orlando. And I feel like I've come such a long way. I feel that being in business in general, not just in aesthetics, but being a business owner can look like so many things to so many people. And for myself, I find that it's been a lot of locking in, a lot of discipline, and late nights focused on my business, where I wasn't necessarily going out and, being outside with people that I shouldn't have been with, or, obviously I had that time in my 20s, and have your fun, you know what I mean? You have to have fun in life. But I'm just a homebody at heart, and I am a lover girl. I prefer to be with my people at home and also having structure in my life. I want to have that 9 to 5, but also like that 5 to 9 before I clock in for the day. I want to wake up early. I want to work out. I want to, be that girl, the highest version of myself. So if you are anything like me and you're just trying to figure it out, I feel like this podcast is for you. I feel that this is a relatable and safe space for you to just kind of hear about, the messy parts of my life, the fun parts, the good parts, all of the things. So I do want to talk about how I got started in business and just what led me to where I'm at now, because I feel like I talked about this a little bit. I did post a little snippet on TikTok and people were interested. It definitely got motion. So I just want to explain a little bit of like what my journey looks like, because everybody thinks, oh my God, like you're doing all of these things and this is what it looks like. But at one point I didn't have anything figured out. So I kind of want to elaborate on that. But I want to talk about how I was home-based and how I went from being home-based to being in a salon suite and then being in a storefront now. And at the beginning, I decided to keep my full-time job that I had. I was working in retail skincare at a local mall, and I loved that job. And it was definitely a fitting job for me, because working in beauty or skincare in general and being able to do it in retail in a capacity where you're having to talk to people, that really prepares you for being an entrepreneur. So I'm super thankful for that experience. So I was working for a company called Kiehl's, and I did that job for like 4 years. And it was literally the best start to being in the industry. I feel like it definitely shaped me. And one day I just decided to, okay, I'm just gonna have this full-time job and then see clients at home, because I didn't go to aesthetic school for nothing. So I decided to talk to my parents, and they let me know that it was fine with them to create a little home skincare studio. And I ended up doing that for 2 years. So I ended up having pretty good clientele, and I just built that through word of mouth. It was very rare that back in 2018, 2019, people were finding me through social media, because I wasn't that big yet. So I did that for 2 years, and it was definitely like, without that experience, I don't think I would have such a good solid foundation that I do now. And shout out to moms and dads, you know what I mean? Like, shout out to them for allowing me to take my time and build my business in that way, because without that, there's so many people that don't have that support. And yeah, if you're doing it alone right now or you have the support, I feel like either way, both journeys are hard, but definitely having a supportive family and that foundation, A plus. So I started home-based, and how did I know when it was time to go from being home-based to being in a salon suite? I didn't really know. I felt like I was just like, okay, I need to make the move if I'm gonna grow. So I remember hiring an accountant, and she was like, I think you need to be in a salon suite if you're gonna grow. And I was like, okay. So I was just so locked in at the time, and I didn't really listen to what other people were doing. And I don't remember how or when I made the decision, but I just put feelers out there. And I remember going on all of these salon suite websites and filling out the contact information. And I was like, hi, like, you should let me rent a studio from you, because I want to be a business owner and have a salon suite in your space. And so that can feel very scary, but I did it anyways. And fast forward to December 2020 is when I got my salon suite, which feels crazy because we were literally in the middle of COVID, like a global pandemic that I was honestly, I had no business, paying rent in a salon suite, but I was like, here we are. This is what we're doing. And God does not make mistakes. I was like, I'm here for a reason. So that's that. And once I moved into the salon suite, I spent the first few weeks contemplating, like, oh my God, did I make the right decision? How am I going to pay my rent? The rent came out weekly. So I just knew if I had 4 clients every week, then I'd be able to pay my rent and I didn't have to worry about anything else. So the clients came. I sometimes sat there twiddling my thumbs, but at the end of the day, the business grew and the clients came. So I spent about 2 years in my salon suite and it was great. I made lots of connections, but it wasn't going to help me grow into the esthetician that I am now, being an esthetician next to a nail tech or being an esthetician next to a hairdresser. I just felt like that didn't really align with me, and I couldn't control the environment at a salon suite, because if you're in a salon suite now, then it's noisy. Sometimes there were kids running in the hallway. I'm like, this is not very spa-like, okay? So at some point, I figured I gotta jump, I gotta move forward, but there's not many in-between spaces that are big enough that they're not a little room or a little salon suite, but they're like cheap enough for you to have your rent in, right? So I was like, what can I afford? How do I move forward? What do I do? And I got to talking with a few people, and eventually I came across the space that I am in now. And the space that I'm in now is the perfect size. So definitely don't stop looking until you find the space that is meant for you, and you will definitely feel it. I found my space, which will explain, like I will definitely explain to you guys, because the connections that I had at that time that got me into the space that I'm in, I'm no longer connected to some of those people. And your journey will change so many times, like the people that you connect with, the people that, put you on. Things will change, because something that sucks in business is you will learn like people's true intentions, and you can't work with everybody. You can't, have the same connections throughout your whole journey. So the girl that got me the place that I'm in now, or told me about it, that's a messy situation, but we'll talk about it. So anyways, I moved forward and I got into my storefront now, and it is the cutest little office space. It is the perfect space for me. It is 2 rooms, so I will be hiring an esthetician soon, but it's the most perfect, cutest lobby. It's good enough for maybe like 3 people to stand in comfortably. And I have a little bathroom, a little kitchen, 2 rooms, and even a little outside event space. So it's perfect. There's a parking lot for all of my clients, and it's conveniently located in the middle of Orlando. I feel like everybody is like, oh, this is the perfect location. I'm like, thank you so much. So I love where I'm at. It's very private. I make my own schedule. I have my clients come in whenever I want. I can spend late nights there and be safe. I can spend early mornings there. I can do whatever I need to do. It's the perfect space. And definitely making the decision to move from being home-based to being in a salon suite to being in a storefront, it's not an easy decision to make, but you just have to feel it for yourself. And I really don't think there's a perfect time. I feel like you'll just know. And when you know and you make that jump, the people around you will either reciprocate or they won't, and you'll lose clients and gain clients, and that's that. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of like how I grew and how I moved, and pretty much where I'm at now. But like I said before, your journey is unique to you, and My journey has been very, very up and down, very messy, but I wouldn't change any part of it because the lessons that I've learned throughout being an entrepreneur, because remember, at the end of the day, we're not just providing a service, we are literally running a business. And it's hard. Like, nobody's going to tell you how to file your taxes, how to do your sales and use, how much money you should be spending on your inventory and your back bar. Nobody lines out the plan for you because there really is no plan. Everybody just had to figure it out on their own. And I think there's so much beauty in that. And of course, it's frustrating to be doing it alone, and sometimes you're going to feel hopeless and you're going to be down bad, and that's okay. But I think the important thing is that you never stop. And if you have a vision for your life and you kind of know what the highest version of you should be doing, then that's your answer, right? So that's a little bit about my journey. What you can expect from Am I Doing This Right is literally just a 27-year-old Latina just navigating life. Literally nothing is off limits, guys. I want to talk about aesthetics, the industry, how I niched down to being an acne specialist, clients and my experience in business, the good, the bad, the ugly, my personal life, just all of it. So I definitely will be sharing everything unfiltered, and I want you guys to be able to listen to me, listen to my experience, take the nuggets of wisdom, apply them to your life, and also feel like a sense of belonging, a sense of community when you're listening to me. I definitely want to have guests on my podcast and bring in people that can provide some value. But overall, the tone and the community that I want to build here is just authenticity and relatability.